Hello everyone. So I'm building a little frame, and this is going to be to house a couple of solar panels. So this is put together very easily with dovetail lap joints. So I was going to record the whole build, but it's going to be really repetitive. So instead I thought I would show you a couple of tips that you can use to actually get nice tight dovetails. And it doesn't matter if you're doing like kind of a half lap dovetail like this, or whether you're doing dovetails in a board to maybe make, I don't know, like a blanket chest or something. So I have got the final rail to put into the main body of the frame, and this is going to be a half lap joints, dovetail joint, just the same as every other joint on this. So about 95% of the time I start with the tails. I'm not going to get into that argument with people because, you know, everyone's got their own little thing, but I personally think it's easier, at least for me, to do the tails first. So when I'm marking out for the tails, I just set them out how I would normally set them out, which is, I've got my angle here, and then I'm just going to square it down. So I've marked out for these, and when I am cutting them, my main concern is that I'm 90 degrees. It doesn't matter so much about the angle. Obviously you want to stay on the line, obviously, but at this point, because you haven't cut the pin portion, it's not really too important, the angle. What is important, as I've just said, is that you're cutting 90 degrees on the end grain, and that's what makes or breaks a dovetail. Because if you're leaning out, I don't know, let's just say it's not quite 90 degrees, let's just say it's 100 degrees for argument's sake. If you're out at 100 degrees, when you mark your tail and then you fit it, you're going to have big gaps at the top face, and obviously you don't want that when you're cutting dovetails. So I'm quickly going to cut this, and then we're going to mark out for the pin portion. I've got this in a position where I want it, so I'm going to mark out for the pin section. So when you're doing this, make sure you have a nice point on your pencil, and that's going to allow you to get right into the corners. Something to note here, this is only rough joinery. I normally wouldn't do this if this was going to be a piece of furniture. However, if this was going to be traditional dovetails, meaning it was going end grain to end grain, I would be using this method. So what makes a nice tight dovetail, and what a lot of people or a lot of beginners don't do, is that they'll actually cut onto the line, where obviously this is a big mistake. So what you should be doing, and what I do, is you actually leave the line still on. If you leave the line on, you're going to get a nice tight fit. So I'm going to remove this, I'm going to leave the line on, and we are going to see what the fit's like. One final thing before we fit this, because we're anticipating that it's going to be tight, I'm just going to put a leading edge on this, and this is just basically a little chamfer on the edge of the corners. So when you're doing this, I don't know, see you're building the dovetail chest, you wouldn't do it all the way to the outside. You would maybe come from the outside and you would come back in, you know, I don't know, maybe 5mm, depending on the size of them. Of course, it might only be 3mm. So if you didn't and you took that off, obviously you'd be able to see this, you know, on the edge of the dovetail, which obviously you don't want to see. So when you're doing it, you want to come in a little bit. So now we've got our leading edge, see what the fit's like. So hopefully you should be able to see that there. I've actually still got the pencil lines on over here as well, although they're a lot fainter over here. So you can see down here there is actually a bit of a lip here, and that's because the 2x4 hasn't been machined correctly. You can see the step in it here. So I mean, if I wanted to, I could actually plane that, but I'm not going to. So it seems strong enough, so I'm going to get some glue on this and get a few screws or nails in, whichever I decide to do. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys do? Do you guys do similar stuff, or if you've got a total different technique for cutting dovetails? I'd be interested to hear. So until the next time, I shall see and speak to you guys later.